For thousands of years, Istanbul has been the place where worlds meet. A single city stretched across two continents, Europe on one shore, Asia on the other, divided only by a narrow blue strait that has shaped empires, trade routes, wars, and culture. Every morning, millions wake up on one continent and rush to the other, crossing the Bosphorus in an endless flow of ferries, buses, cars, and trains. But beneath the beauty of this iconic waterway lies one of the worst traffic bottlenecks on the planet. Istanbul's bridges strain under the weight of more than 2 million vehicles every day. Ferries race back and forth but can't keep up. Commutes that should take minutes stretch into hours. And with Istanbul's population surpassing 15 million, the pressure keeps increasing. For decades, engineers dreamed of a solution bold enough to unite this divided metropolis. First came the Marmaray rail tunnel, then the Eurasia road tunnel, both breakthroughs, both impressive, and yet still not enough. Now, Turkey is preparing for something no country has ever attempted before: a 3-level undersea megatunnel carrying cars, trucks, and even a metro line through a single structure carved deep beneath the seabed. This is the Grand Istanbul Tunnel, a $3.5 billion gamble that could redefine how a megacity moves, lives, and connects across continents. To understand why Turkey is attempting one of the boldest engineering projects in the world, you first need to understand the scale of Istanbul's transportation crisis. The city's geography is both its greatest gift and its greatest curse. A thin, winding strait, barely a kilometer wide at some points, separates millions of people from their workplaces, schools, and families. In the early 20th century, Istanbul had fewer than 1 million residents. Today, that number has exploded to more than 15 million, and nearly 2 million vehicles cross the Bosphorus every single day. The bridges are overwhelmed, ferries operate at capacity, and even recent megaprojects struggle under the relentless demand. The Marmaray Tunnel, an engineering marvel that carries rail passengers under the strait, dramatically cut commute times, but soon reached its limits. The Eurasia Tunnel, a road-only undersea crossing, relieved some pressure, yet traffic growth continued faster than infrastructure could expand. City planners realized the problem wasn't the number of crossings. The problem was fragmentation. Istanbul had rail on one route, cars on another, and highways looping inefficiently around both continents. What the city needed wasn't more roads, it needed a unified system. And so, in 2015, Turkey announced a vision unlike anything attempted before. A single multimodal artery connecting 9 metro lines, 11 major highways, and dozens of districts across Europe and Asia, all through one structure beneath the Bosphorus. This would become the Grand Istanbul Tunnel, the backbone of a new interconnected Istanbul. At the center of Turkey's bold vision lies a structure that has no precedent anywhere in the world. A tunnel built on 3 separate levels, each serving a different stream of traffic, all enclosed within one massive circular shell beneath the Bosphorus. No other nation has ever combined road and rail in such a compact form, especially not under a strait as busy and geologically complex as this one. The Grand Istanbul Tunnel will extend roughly 6.5 kilometers beneath the seabed, connecting the European district of Hasdal directly with Chamluk on the Asian side. Yet the tunnel is only one part of a far larger transformation. It anchors a 110-kilometer transportation corridor designed to reshape how the entire city moves. Inside the tunnel, the design is stacked vertically. The upper deck will carry traffic toward Asia, while the lower deck handles vehicles moving toward Europe. Between them runs the core of the project, a fully integrated metro line positioned in the middle of the tunnel and linked to some of Istanbul's most important rail systems. All of this is housed inside a colossal structure with a diameter of 16.8 meters, large enough to contain a small building. When complete, this underground artery is expected to move hundreds of thousands of vehicles and well over 1.5 million passengers daily. The chaotic hour-long struggle to cross continents will shrink to a journey of just 14 minutes, carried beneath the waves at a depth of 110 meters in a tunnel engineered to endure the crushing pressure of the sea and the seismic forces of the North Anatolian Fault. Building a tunnel beneath the Bosphorus is not simply a construction challenge. It is a geological confrontation with one of the most unpredictable environments on Earth. The seabed beneath Istanbul is a shifting mix of soft sediments and ancient rock layers shaped over millennia. Even more daunting is the tunnel's proximity to the North Anatolian Fault, one of the world's most active seismic zones. To carve a safe passage through this landscape, engineers will rely on tunnel boring machines built specifically for deep, pressurized underwater conditions. These enormous machines, nearly 19 meters in diameter, will excavate the seabed while instantly installing reinforced concrete segments behind them to form the tunnel's outer shell. Each section must be perfectly sealed to prevent seawater infiltration under pressures strong enough to crush steel. Before a single meter is dug, teams carried out extensive geotechnical surveys using sonar and seismic imaging to map the safest possible route. The chosen alignment follows natural low points in the seabed, minimizing disruption while reducing environmental impact. Because earthquakes are a constant threat, the tunnel incorporates flexible joints and specially engineered gaskets capable of absorbing ground movement. This earthquake-resilient design draws on lessons from Japan's undersea tunnels, some of the most secure ever built. In Istanbul, the stakes are even higher. Success means a new era of mobility across continents. Beyond its engineering ambition, the Grand Istanbul Tunnel represents a political and economic statement. Turkey intends to reshape its largest city into a unified, efficient megahub where Europe and Asia operate as one. The project is financed through a public-private partnership, allowing private investors to build and operate the tunnel for several decades before handing it back to the state. During that time, revenue from tolls and metro fares will support the system and ensure its long-term viability. The road to completion has not been easy. Economic volatility, currency fluctuations, and global financial pressures have slowed progress. Environmental groups have raised concerns about seabed disruption, while critics question the necessity of a third Bosphorus tunnel when two major undersea crossings already exist. Yet supporters argue that this project is fundamentally different. Not a simple crossing, but a backbone, a single structure that connects rail, metro, and road networks into one synchronized system. If successful, the tunnel could reduce traffic across the Bosphorus bridges by up to 30%, eliminate millions of wasted commuting hours, and significantly cut emissions. More importantly, it would allow residents to cross continents in just minutes, binding Istanbul more tightly than at any point in its long history. A city once divided by nature may soon be united by engineering, a symbol of ambition carved deep beneath the waves.